So consoles mounted, shifters mounted, seat belts are in, seats are mounted. So now pull them all out and get to doing this carpet. First got boom mat insulation, ACC Carpet, which I've heard bad things about, but we'll see. And then I'm using second skin sound deadening, which isn't done yet. I still have to do under the seats on both sides, and then that's it. So I'm not doing full coverage. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. I'm not living in like Arizona or anything like that, so I just want a little bit of resonation resistance and heat resistance. So I did the fronts pretty well covered, so it gets hot up there, and the tranny tunnel gets hot too. So I'm gonna do this portion here and here. The backs under all that shit is done. You can kind of see it over there, but yeah, so that's it, man. Let's see how this goes. Back to it. All right, so I've had this laid in here for a while. It's been like a week, so it's just to get the shape. It looks way better than when I first put it in there. Now I got to pull it out and seat this installation, this boom mat. I got to cut it up and put it where I want it. So, and then 3M it down with the 3M adhesive. And then I got to come back and cut the holes again, polish for the kids. I think that there's like a daycare that moved in behind me. So, all right, back to it. Okay, so it's all cut up, laid in there. I primarily want the front covered pretty good. That transmission tunnel gets pretty warm, but there's sound skin under there anyways, so it should be good. You know, those are just scrap pieces I had, so I just used them there. Excuse the noise. I got the lint off the carpet, and yeah, now I have to glue these down with a little bit of that 3M adhesive. And then I'll lay the carpet and start cutting holes for the seat belts and the seats and any other extra stuff that needs to be done. So it is glued down. All the pieces you see in there are secured in. Now I have to bolt this shifter in. I left that area over there loose because I have to patch that hole still, and then I need to make a grommet for the cable. Just cut a little hole out for the center console mount. It bolts there, there, and there. So, yep. Now I gotta put the carpet in. My lady took all the lint off of it, and then cut the holes for the bolts, and then it will be in. We're one step closer. All right. So all this is in. Now it's time to start cutting. So I started with the little vent. There's a drain for the ACs. I made sure that both sides are even overlapped from that side to this side for this piece and this piece. So this is gonna be weird because there's a whole bunch of cutting that needs to happen. It's kind of sketch, but your center part is the most important. So, because you know, if your center is correct, then and the overlaps right on the sides, then it sits where it needs to be, so that way you know you're in a good position. So we're almost there. I'm starting to cut the holes for the mounts, so gotta make sure these wires that I have running are in the right place underneath the carpet before I finish up. I gotta cut the seatbelt holes and the back two mounts, but you see over here. So all I did was I pulled it out, I marked it, while it was out I marked it, and then cut it and cut it, like test fit, cut it, test fit, cut it. So it's almost there. I gotta pull this off, and then I can tuck that little bit. You see it's got a little bit of give. That's the excess that'll swoop up in there. So yeah, so back to it. So just to show y'all how I did this, excuse the train, you know, once again, trains, boats, planes, babies, that's what it is here. So I just used like a box cutter. I've put these bolts in
on the other side and then felt it. And remember that it's bubbled up, so it's gonna move a little bit, especially that one. So it's bubbled up, so when it lays down, it's gonna move. You gotta remember that when you're marking your hole. Yeah, and then just cut them through. So now I gotta do the other side. So back to it.
All right. So you know I have planes, kids, jackhammers, helicopters. I got a new one for you guys. This fool just walked up on me as I was doing the carpet.
It's a chicken, bruh. I think it's a chicken.
I'm not very sure, but you know what they say, man. When you got chicken, cook them shits. We gonna eat good tonight, boys. All right, so I gotta talk a little louder because it is raining, of course, and my tarp's hella old, so it's dripping all over me. That's what you get when, oh, I don't want to get burnt out. Oh, I'm gonna take my time. Yep. Well, guess what? Now you're working in the rain once again. So here we go. I just wanted to touch on this for you guys because it's probably the most tedious part. So you mount the center. You have to cut out what you need to cut out for the center. Let me pull this out. So that's how I did mine. I'm gonna trim those, I think, a little bit more. And we'll see once final fit comes around. Then you work from the inside out. So you got to make sure this is flush, and remember this is gonna settle over time. Like shit like this, it'll settle over time once heat and stuff. So just when you're cutting or looking for these holes, make sure you're pushing in these corners as much as they can go. And think about when you're sitting in the car, like I always put my foot right here, so you got to make sure that stuff's flat. Then you do the inside bolts. I did the front piece, this whole front section at a time on both sides. So I mounted those holes, and then before I did this one, I cut that to where it needs to be. You see it still has a bubble, because I have to take these off so I can slide that in there. But to do that, I have to pull the ECU and fuses out. So yeah, and then when you get to the sides, what I did was I used a little paint marker, just a white paint marker, and marked it little bits at a time, and cut it and marked it and cut it and marked it and cut it till it got to where I wanted it to be. The back portion is a little weird, so it hangs over right here, so you can get away with a little bit, but right here is important because there's not a lot of coverage, so be careful. Just cut a little at a time, little at a time. What I did was get it behind this first, and then pulled this out, and then checked it, and just kept checking it, So I might still cut it a little bit more. There's a little excess there. It's wrinkling up, so it's holding this corner up. So I think I'm gonna cut it a little bit more, but that's basically it. I gotta pull this out now and patch this hole that's in there for the old shifter cable. So all right, back to it. Okay, so the holes are drilled for the shifter. I used a paint marker to mark the holes, and it like exploded on me and leaked everywhere. So it doesn't matter, this is blocked anyways, you won't be able to see it. I gotta fill this. I already did part of the plug, so I had an old door. I just cut that out with the hole saw, and then plugged the center hole. Now I'm gonna make a template out of this, just some cardboard, so I can shape this down to size. Sorry, I have to plug these two and these. Hopefully I don't burn my car down. Wish me luck. All right, back to it. All right, so here's the aftermath of the first welds on the Chevelle. So, well, this is the first one. That was number 1, number 2, number 3, and then number 4. That one came out really good. That one's basically flat. And then this one, it's got a little bit of a raise to it. I haven't brushed them off yet either. And then I tried to do this all in one pass, which didn't turn out too good, and there was gaps. This had overlay,
and then this had gaps. So, and then that was from cutting the puck out. But I think that's pretty good, man. That's like my first real welding anything of like reason or usefulness. Everything else is just a bunch of scrap that I welded and never actually used it for anything. So feel way better now that I don't have duct tape plugging these holes up. So yeah, keep practicing. It is what it is. I'm not a professional welder. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so, but I'm pretty sure that shit ain't coming apart. So yeah, anyways, back to it. Thanks for the support. Holla for $1.